It's Don here from the board. Welcome to another video on keyboards and microphones. So, this is part 5 now of this series, and this is going to be the last one in regards to XLR type microphones before we move into the 2 USB microphones that I've got as part of my collection. So what we've covered in the previous 4 parts was the premise of this series. So if you're not quite sure what's happening there, check out part 1. Then part 2 was the Rode NT-R ribbon microphone. Part 3 was the Rode NT-1 condenser microphone. And then part 4 was the Audio-Technica AT2020 XLR. So what I spoke about in the last episode was that in this one, I'm combining all 3 microphones to be simultaneously picking up. Because when you've got the different microphones with their different frequency response patterns, what happens when their signals are blended together, recording simultaneously? So we're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to have a minute of monkey type, record through Audacity, and then we can spit out the graph, and we can actually see what that's going to look like, just for a bit of keyboard science. Now, what I'll do is we'll just have a quick look at what the desktop setup is going to be looking like, and that is what we've got going on. So right now, what you can see is the NT1 over here on this side and the AT2020 over this side, trying to get as over the keyboard as possible, and I've got this space over here for the NT-R to be able to hang over as well. Noting that the shorter body, longer body, I've angled it to try and get them roughly in the same spot. And the distinct difference, though, that we do need to take into consideration is that they are not sitting on my plank. The reason is the plank will not hold the weight. I don't have sufficient weight available to stop having 2 microphones plus 2 weighted bases not crash and fall on top of my keyboard. I kind of tried it, didn't work, wasn't a smart idea. So the vibrations from typing will go into the bass, but hopefully it will be, I suppose, not that prevalent and not change the pickups too badly. Okay, noting that the ribbon microphone is actually on an arm, but it does have a shock mount. So right now you're hearing me just on the ribbon microphone, but now I'm going to actually turn up the level for the Rode NT1, and that will change the output, I guess, that you're hearing. And now I'm going to dial up the the level for the AT2020. So now this is actually all 3 microphones having input simultaneously. Now, if that just got super crazy loud, I do apologize, but it shouldn't be, because the mixer is meant to be limiting that with the master volume. But who knows? I'm not an audio professional by any means, so I honestly couldn't tell you. Now, I'm just going to adjust this so it's going to be down, and I'm going to actually take off my cork shield. There we go, and then I can position it closer to everything else in the right position. Okay, so now I've got all 3 microphones sitting over the top of the keyboard, and we can check out what that combined sound input is going to look like. So Audacity is now picking it all up. You can see that the monitoring bar is doing quite well, and I'm going to reset that. We're going to go with a bit of background noise. Okay. So 93 words per minute, 96%. It's still pretty on par in regards to where I was when I was saying 80 to 90, around the 90% accuracy. Pretty happy with that. Now I'm just going to adjust the microphone back. And I'm going to put my clips back on. Okay. You might say, why do I have that little cork shield? It's primarily because should stop the recording. It's primarily because with the way that my PC is set up, when the fan's going really loudly on the video card, sometimes it does actually pick that up on the back. So having that just helps reduce the pickup from the rear on that ribbon microphone. Right, so let's go and do our editing as we've done previously. Take it from about 5 seconds to just before the click there, and we'll take on the noise reduction profile. We'll do the reduction. We will do our amplify 6. So obviously having all of these microphones generating signal this time, that said, that actually I need to cut the stuff at the end because that's not truly representative of what's going on, is it? It should be around there, we can see. So that'll be the stop point, 17 on. Let's just delete that. Go back to the minute. From there, actually delete that. Should just be the 17. We'll take it from the 16 seconds back to the start and delete that. Now we should be able to correctly, there we go. So 10.5, still more signal, which is not surprising because we've got 3 microphones running. And then we can do our spectrum. It gives me the typical error, well, warning really. Let's switch that over to log frequency. And yeah, the shape of the graph is slightly different. You'll see that we're not getting an overpeak that we were seeing in some of the other microphones. So that's really, really interesting. So we're going to export that. We'll save that. We'll save this project file, and then we'll be able to do that as part of our total wrap up at the end. So that concludes the parts that I'm testing with the XLR microphones. And believe it or not, I got a brand new mixer with the 4 XLR ports just so I could run these 3 microphones simultaneously. I was intending to get like a Blue Yeti or something like that with the XLR input as well, because that's also quite a popular microphone for people who are streaming and recording in general, not necessarily in the keyboard space, but just in general. But I wasn't able to pick up one at an affordable second-hand price at the time. So yeah, but you know what, it's worthwhile investment upgrading my equipment anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed these parts up to now, and we'll be back at some point to also look at the 2 USB microphones and then a wrap up comparison, talk over all of the microphones and their respective results side by side. So if you like this kind of stuff, please hit that like button, hit that share button if you want people who are using microphones to check this out and understand what I'm trying to achieve here and perhaps how it will affect their keyboard experience in recording audio and streaming it. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, I'd really love and appreciate your subscribe to this channel. That's it. Thanks very much for checking out the video. And of course, as usual, until next time, happy clacking.